Well, how's it going, guys? I don't know how many more videos I'll be doing inside the garage. Hopefully not too many. Hopefully I'll be out on track with this car sooner or later. But for now, my last video I said I need to finish up some suspension and interior bits, and let's get her done. Well, the first step to getting the interior all situated and ready for driving again, let's get all this stuff taken out. Got a crap load of stuff I've just been piling up right here, so let's get that all cleaned up real quick. Alright, got this little bulkhead area cleaned up. Now to finish plugging some things in so I can test all my lights. I need to make sure all my lights work and stuff like that, because I've been completely changing all the wiring in this car. And then I need to pull the dash back out because I did not put all the ducting in for the heater core and stuff like that for the defrost, and I still want my heater. So I just need to make sure my wiring job works before I finish everything up. Alright, the dash is plugged in. Time to go steal the battery out of my other Miata to get this one working. What the hell, Milo? You ain't shutting the trunk, buddy. Well, I have presented myself with a problem. May or may not have forgot my keys to this car, either at work or at my girlfriend's house. So I'm gonna see what I can test without the keys and see if my lights will turn on, and hopefully they do. Cannot shut my trunk because that would be a situation, because my battery from my other car is there. So, moment of truth. Oh man. Next day, I went ahead and got my keys for this thing so I could turn the power on and actually start testing all the wires. Everything I need to go through to make sure works would be my windows, headlights, taillights, brake lights, dash lights, wiper motor. Then I need to extend the wiper motor harness, or just the 4 wires that go to it, that go to the wiper motor itself, because I believe they're under my glove box and I need to somehow get them to the wiper motor. First step in that, though, would be seeing if I'm correct on the plug. So let's see about that one. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing back off, even though I just put it on a couple days ago. Just like that, got it off. Now I just need to plug it in and see if this little guy spins. May look like a mess right now, but it's in the testing phase, so gotta make sure everything works, and then I will tidy everything up, make sure there's no loose wires and no exposed wires. There we go. Plugged in. Well, as you can see, nothing happened. So, not getting power to the wiper motor. Doesn't seem to be getting power to my headlights either. I haven't tried my headlight motors. I fear that this dash and everything needs to be completely plugged in for it to complete the circuit, for everything to work properly, because I have ran into that issue on newer vehicles. But I did chop all the airbag harness out, and I'm hoping maybe there wasn't a circuit with the airbag harness that I might have cut out. But I was real careful and I only cut certain sections out with the airbag harness. But I'm going to keep troubleshooting, and let me see if I can find a problem here. I'm also suspecting that this switch right here has gone bad, because before my motor blew up, my turn signal stopped working completely, and so that's what made me want to do all the work to my wiring harness. Was I had melted the wires to my turn signals. So I put all new wires in for the turn signals, and well, now it's not wanting to click. Earlier it was clicking, but let me keep troubleshooting and I'll show you guys an update. Well, I got my windows to roll up, but I left the car for a little bit. I don't know, maybe I unplugged something. I was doing something. It's like, I'm slightly confused because now my windows aren't going up, but when I click this button, see that light? What is going on? Well, I keep troubleshooting and I believe my turn signal switch is no good. So I'm gonna go ahead and order one probably tonight. I was gonna call O'Reilly's and see how much they have it for, but I'm sure I could just find it cheaper on eBay or something like that. Find an old used one that's tested and good. And I will be back to finishing that list of wiring that I need to do. So back to working on the suspension. And first step of working on the suspension is get a new right caliper to finish that off, and some ball joints. I also need to make the driver's side of the car like the passenger, because there is no suspension in here at all. Well, I just got this all finished up on this side of things. I should have showed me bending this one, because this one was quite a tricky hose to bend and get right. But I've basically just been using like a safety wire and getting the shape that I want, and then replicating it using some brake line. Here's a failed piece. And yep, they just go up and over. And you can see I put a union. This one goes to my rear calipers. And then this brake line that's sticking up high comes right here to my soft line. And what I need to do now, which I will show you guys the process on this time, is this hard line over here goes to the driver caliper, and I need to make this line go over there or come up and tease somewhere so that this caliper will work as well. And I kind of realize now it would have been easier for me to just make that all go all the way down to the soft line, but I guess I'm going to make this where the T is and tee off the other side. So now I just need to run a brake line from that side of the engine bay to this side of the engine bay. Well, one thing's for sure, I'm definitely going to get some more brake line tomorrow because I think this is all I have. I thought I had some more, but I can't find it. I'm going to go ahead and probably route the brake line from this soft line to that T, and I'm going to show you guys flaring the ends of these, because when you cut it, it's typically like that, and we need to flare the ends so that a fitting can go on there. Yeah, so the fitting just slips right off right now. We need that fitting to stay and be able to crush in to either a union or a T. So I'm probably going to flare that one first so I can put the T in so I know where to start bending from. This is one of the cheaper kits, but most of them are kind of the same. Essentially, just slipping that guy on, you can kind of smooth it out the way if you have the room. Sometimes you don't have the room. And then get this tool, open it up, and then I like to leave just a little bit hanging off, maybe like a fingernail. Go ahead and just tighten that tool down. Now I'm going to slip the crimping tool on there. Got to do a bit of a wrap around. Alright, essentially once you get it tightened on there, you just keep on twisting, and it is gonna flare the end of that brake line. Oh, and I didn't clamp this tight enough, so it kind of just pushed it back. Didn't flare it all the way, so I'm gonna loosen it and readjust a little bit. Push some more out. Alright, let me try this again. We'll go ahead and tighten this down. Can't really see in there, but now let me loosen it. And there you have it. The brake fitting is on. And now I can screw my little T-fitting on. Alright, so as you guys can see, I got the rear brakes are already hooked up. I need to put a bend in this one and position it so the T-fitting is facing that way. That way I can bring the passenger brake line just right over the transmission and into there, and then it'll be just a straight shot from that point into here, which I'll just put a new fitting to this little bracket. So let me make this little brake line. This thing can be a bit confusing sometimes, but essentially what really sucks about these brake lines is they come spooled up and you have to bend them straight. And sometimes you get little little imperfections in your perfectly straight brake line. But we're going to start out with an immediate bend. Oh. Basically slip it in this way like this. Go for just about 90 degrees. Take that out of there. So there's our first bend. I'm going to basically be putting a fitting on this, probably cutting it down just a little bit. This is immediately off the caliper, then it's going to do another bend upwards. So let me do that bend upwards. Let me see where I need to bend it at, and then I'll bend it upwards. Alright, so we're going to do this next bend at about a 45, and then we can kind of play with it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it after that, and that's going to be the one for our passenger side. So slip this guy back in here. Right about there, a little bit higher. Alright. Just like that. Now we got a nice little S-curve. So I'm going to clip it probably about here, and that'll give me enough room to put it in there. And then about there it'll go to the fitting. I think I'm going to probably do another bend about here. Keep it up nice and neat, tight against the rail. And then it'll tee off this way and that way. Well, I couldn't find a 10mm wrench to save my life yesterday, so I grabbed one from work. Oh no, did that just strip out on me? It sure did. I hate these brass brake lines. Sorry it's so dark. I don't have any lighting right now. Let's see if I can maybe get the other side cracked. Ooh! That felt good, actually. I almost fell over and dropped my camera. Yes. Well, I should have used the flank drive to begin with on the other side, because I did not. Alright, I got the stock line off. What I'm going to do is probably replicate the first and second bend, and then route it myself from there. This type of wire will be your best friend because you can bend it and it holds its shape. So let's get a rough shape of what we need that brake line to be. So it's kind of wild I have to even wear my jacket right now anyways. It's like May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, my mom's birthday, and it said it felt like 34 degrees outside. It was like 42 degrees, but it felt like 34. It's pretty cold. But anyways, I'm gonna bend this brake line out of some wire, and then I'll show you the shape that I come up with. Alright, so I went ahead and I just took some tin snips and I just cut that brake line for the passenger side. And basically, that's the beginning of what I need. And this one originally routed to the brake booster, and this one's just going to route up to that T-fitting. So, don't necessarily need that anymore. Got the beginning of what I need. I'm going to go down there, bend this up to the T-fitting. Now I'll know exactly where I need to put this, make it out of that brake line. Bam. Back to where I was last night with that S-curve of a bend. And it looks like I need to do one more bend right here to make it go straight up. And that's where the fitting is going to be. And that's where it'll go to the T-fitting. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut this. And then we'll crimp a fitting on there. If I have another fitting, I might need to go pick up some more fittings. But I got a fresh union right here. And I got that T-fitting. Yep, I'm going to have to go pick up some more fittings. Alright, well that is the passenger side brake line. That's all that needed to happen to move it to that T-fitting. I thought there was going to be a little bit more to it, but that's it. The driver's side is going to be the tricky one. So I'm not having to trim this hose a little bit in order to get that fitting on there to go into the brake line. And this tool, like you just seen in that last clip, you just tighten it down, give it some twisting, tighten it down, keep twisting. Eventually it'll cut it. Now I'm going to slip the fitting on there. Happened. See, so the bend here either needs to be a little bit sharper, or I need to unbend it some, flare it, and then bend it back, because that does not give me enough room to put a flare tool on there and flare that end. Dang. Alright, looks like I've unbent it just enough to, let's see if I can, just enough to flare it. Now there is one issue. I believe the soft lines are a inverted flare or double flare. I'm not sure the terminology, but basically I need to be able to put this guy on there, which means I need for it to come out a little bit more, I believe. Let me double check that. Well, now I'm just doing the little bit of flaring that I need to do for this line, and I realized that I am out of fittings and out of brake line. That sucks. So tomorrow or the next day, I'm gonna have to go and pick up some more brake lines and some more fittings so I can finish this thing, and I need to get some more anyways in order to run a handbrake. So let me crimp this, and I've got a slight problem because I already did the bend and I don't have quite enough room to do this crimp, because I believe it is like the double flare instead of the single inverter. So what I may need to do is I might need to try to unbend this the best I can a little bit to move this fitting back so I have more room. Oh, just like that. Perfect. Had to unbend it slightly. We're going to scoot this a little forward. Like so. And then, because I'm not going to be able to fit the piece in there, these things are annoying because when you put them in the box, you kind of have to twist this thing all the way in for the handle to fit. And then in order to use it, you have to untwist it all the way, every time. This thing's always fun. Alright, let me show you guys what I got bent up so far. Hold on. So it starts from the master cylinder right here, comes up and over. Nothing's like clipped in, I got them zip tied together. Then it comes down to here. And then you can see this is the T-fitting I was talking about. It's not tightened up yet. And I need the driver's side caliper to route over to here because this is the passenger side, and you can see the line goes there. Like I said, I'm out of fittings. So now I need to go get some fittings and brake lines tomorrow and finish routing. And then throw some pads in here. Also need to throw the extended brake lines on. Then I should be able to bleed my brakes. I am very, very curious to see how the chase bays, oh shit. I am very curious to see how the chase bays manual brakes feel with that Willwood master cylinder and that whole delete system. I don't think I've ever drove a car without a brake booster in it other than like go-karts. So I'm assuming it'll feel more like a go-kart with that. I honestly did it just to clean up the engine bay some, so I want to get these brake lines looking nice as possible. The throttle cable I feel like looks a little weird coming across like that, but what are you gonna do?